Stephen A. Smith, who is he even on ESPN anymore?
Yeah, he's on the radio.
He's on the radio. He got fired before.
No, he came back.
He came back. He's back. They didn't get fired. They told him to go screw himself for a bit, and he's back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, in this whole. Had a conversation with some co-hosts about the sensitivity issue or racial insensitivity regarding
Jeremy
Lin.
Because apparently it's become a thing, and ESPN even got into a bit of hot water because they posted the title "Chink in the Armor." Yes. And thought that was what was hot in the streets, which it is not. And so they got questioned. They had that someone got suspended, someone got fired, and all this stuff. So then the ESPN anchors were having a discussion on the sensitivity of, I guess, like the news at the moment. And Stephen A. Smith decided, and by the way, we are clear here that, like, we're familiar with some of the Stephen A. Smith commentary of the past. He is not someone who I agree with almost ever, and he is a big loudmouth. Let's just be honest about that up front. So it's not like we are shocked by the fact that he would say something stupid. Not shocked. Aaron, you pay attention to sports a lot more. Are you shocked by Stephen A. Smith saying something dumb?
I don't listen to what he says anymore.
Because he says a lot of problematic things. And so he decided on ESPN to have this conversation.
Is a part of the Jeremy Lin story that wasn't exactly feel good. ESPN became part of the story over the weekend when a headline writer was fired for using the phrase "chink in the armor" to describe the Knicks' first loss in the Jeremy Lin era. An ESPN anchor was suspended 30 days for using the same phrase. 2 points of clarification here. The writer claims that it was an honest mistake, and the anchor insists, in fact, that the offending word was unintentional. He has apologized. Stephen A., you believe there is a bigger issue at play here. What's the point you want to make?
Well, first of all, before he makes his bigger point, understand that he volunteered this. It wasn't even like apparently he wanted, like he had spoken about it before. He had told them he wanted to say something. So this is something very deliberate. He decided this needed to be said. Just for clarity.
I'm not going to comment about, what our employers decide to do. We work for them. It's not our place to do that. I mean, when they let me go, when they didn't renew my contract a few years ago, I didn't comment about me. So I'm certainly not going to comment about anybody else. Let me say this, though. At some point in time, the black community has to recognize that we share a level of culpability in any kind of incident like that transpires.
Wait, what? What? Like, what? The black, because the thing is that, like, as Aaron knows, we don't discuss sports here on the show because I don't give a rat's ass. So this is probably something like I wouldn't even get into. Like, we only got into Linsanity was because of all of the ridiculous racial commentary that came out of that. But all of a sudden, he evokes the black community, and guess what? We're a part of the black community. So I feel like it's like, hey, apparently we have some blame in what just happened with the ridiculousness with Jeremy Lin.
So when he first started talking about it, like his words come out, I was like, oh, he's going to talk about how the black community should stand up when other people are being racially insensitive to other groups.
When there are issues of all people, we should understand because we've had so much said about us.
That's where I thought he was going with it.
Wait, that's not where he's going with that?
No.
Ma'am.
Because the heightened sensitivity that exists in our society today, we are in large part. I mean, we have a lot to do with that.
So apparently, the fact that people were like, hey, you guys are saying a lot of racist nonsense is black people's fault. Got it.
As my man Skip Bayless and I have talked about over the years, there's never an excuse for somebody in a very derogatory fashion, especially, to use the N-word. There's just no excuse for it.
No excuse.
We understand what it means. We understand the historical perspective of that.
Right.
But there are a multitude of other things that we have classified as racially insensitive. Some of the leaders in the black community have done so, and I'm not sitting there and calling them out as if they were wrong. I understand whether you're a Reverend Al Sharpton or Reverend Jesse Jackson. I was just with Maxine Waters, representative out of California.
Why are you just... How do you just throw people...
Well, first of all,
I was just with Maxine Waters was
he's like, I'm not calling anybody out, but then I'm gonna call some people out. And then he was like, and then I was hanging out with Maxine Waters. I love her.
I was just with her.
That was like the equivalent of saying my best friends are black. It's like, because he's trying to hedge the fact that he's about to say something idiotic. It is like, literally, by the way, that whole using race or something as a hedge is not something that only white people do or other races. Like when they say my best friend's black, I have a black kid, I married a black woman. No.
Black people do it too.
Black people do it too. All races can pull this up, right? So cool. He decided that he needed to put up his black shield for his comment right now.
Let him talk. He has a single valid point here in all this that you will listen to. He has a single valid point.
4 years ago, who I love dearly, the issues that they fought, they grew up in a different time. They lived in a different time. And there's a level of sensitivity that they harbor because they know what it means and they've experienced some of the things people of my generation have not.
Right.
However, that heightened level of sensitivity has had a contagious effect on other communities. So suddenly everybody is sensitive about a lot of different things because they're saying, well, if the black community gets to be ultra sensitive about anything that could be perceived as race, we may not even be sure. We might think it. And because of that, it becomes something that generates a shrapnel of criticism and controversy, and ultimately we're touching on it in such a fashion. Then you have people from the white community speaking up and saying, wait a minute, what about what we find offensive? Mm-hmm. All right, you have people from the Hispanic community. What about what we find offensive? But now you've got folks from the Asian community. What about what we find offensive?
But if it's offensive...
So apparently, as Negroes, we were really annoyed when people would say dumb things about us. And so then we would be like, hey, stop saying dumb things about us. And so now, because we've created the rule of, hey, you shouldn't say dumb things about us, apparently that rule spreads to other groups and ethnicities.
And other people get to tell people, hey, don't say dumb things about
me. Yeah. And so apparently, because of black people...
Don't say racially insensitive. How about just don't say racially insensitive stuff, no matter who.
No, listen, because it's not even that it is racially insensitive; it's that we think it is. We think it is, because that's literally what racial insensitivity. Like at one point, it wasn't racially insensitive to refer to that dude down the block as nigger. Because he's a nigger. Like that was that at one point that wasn't, and then we thought it was racially insensitive. Then we pointed out that, hey, it's not. Times change. So when certain things aren't okay anymore, I'm not. But he's just ranting at this point, Aaron.
Yeah, that's his thing.
But it's stupid, Aaron.
That's also his thing. Are we gonna listen to the whole thing or no?
No. Yeah.
And the list goes on. And here's what has happened: we're in an unforgiving society now. Regardless of what you want to sit there and say, we don't have to talk about this or whatever. There are other instances in our lifetime in America where people have lost their jobs. They've lost their livelihoods. I'm on the record. I don't believe Jimmy the Greek should have been fired years ago. I've always said that. Yeah. He was off the air. He was in a bar. He was inebriated, and somebody stuck a camera in front of his face. And because of that, 30 plus years of a career down the drain.
I've only heard bits and pieces of the Jimmy the Greek story. And if if that was the case, that he was in fact in a bar off the air, and then someone just started recording him to ask him about something, and he made the commentary about the whole because what I believe what he got fired was because he was saying that blacks were so good at sports because of the fact that they were bred to be big and strong.
Yeah.
And not to be funny, off the top of my head, that doesn't immediately offend me.
No.
Because of the fact is that
it's like it's
facts. We make jokes about it all the time, like me and Aaron talk about our slave DNA. Because
I thought that's how it worked in a way.
I mean, they did look at us as cattle, so they kind of bred us as such.
Yep.
So I wasn't terribly offended by the concept of that. Like, I don't understand. I don't know all of the parts of that, but I could see that if that was the case, like someone put a camera in his face. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. Maybe he shouldn't have been fired for that. That I don't have an issue with, but he continues.
We're unforgiving. And I'm looking at a black community and I'm saying we make up approximately 13 to 14% of the American population. Mm-hmm. Okay? You look at the Census Bureau reports, it says that by the year 2039, the black population will increase by 1%. The Hispanic population in this country will double. Wow. When you look at it from that standpoint, we're in danger of becoming an endangered species.
What the hell?
I don't know how we got.
Wait, I don't understand.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't think you guys are familiar.
So he flavored it with census facts.
Right, he threw out a random census fact. Apparently, we're dying. We're dying off as a group. Even though, I mean, I don't know if he's familiar with the census. That the fact is that as a population, America is constantly growing, and so if the population grows and we maintain our percentage in the population, or actually still rise a little bit, we might not be rising as fast as Hispanic communities, but we're actually still growing, hence not becoming extinct. That doesn't even. I don't even. That's literally just stupid. Like, he's just saying stupid things on air, and he's apparently being paid for this, Aaron. Like, it's just idiocy.
This is just what he does.
So he's paid for idiocy.
Yeah, he says dumb things about sports as well. He's very loud and provocative. Him and Skip Bayless, the guy usually across from him.
But this is stupid.
Okay? So when you look at it from that perspective, you have to get to a point where you don't erase what you're sensitive to, okay? But you have to be forgiving from the standpoint of, if somebody apologizes genuinely, let's try to be a bit more forgiving, because if we're not, then other people are not going to be so forgiving when something goes down with them, whether it's the ethnic groups or whether it's the homosexual community and what they perceive as offensive. And suddenly people are losing their jobs, they're losing their careers, they're losing their ability to provide for their families and all of this stuff. And why?
So wait. So the idea here is that black people are super sensitive, and so now
everybody's super sensitive,
and so now black people can be affected because they can say things that are racially ignorant to other people, and so now they will be called out about it because we called out other people when they were racially ignorant.
It's important that you don't follow every single word Stephen A. Smith says.
But he's a cop. But he's a cop.
Sir, this is on national television. This is on ESPN. This is all legitimate. It's not like It's not like we put a camera in his face when he was drunk at a bar and he started rambling on. That's not what happened. He was on television with makeup on. So I'm assuming he knew the camera was about to be on, Aaron.
Maybe he doesn't understand the history of the actual slur, Chink. I didn't know we'd be listening to Stephen A. Smith, this incredible detail. He just says things.
Because he's on national... Sir,
we got to be careful about
it's coming. My biggest issue with all this.
You can say what you want about me. I sit on these airwaves across from my man here, and we call it like we see it. But it is rare in the day when somebody can look in my face and tell me there's an absence of compassion, that I want somebody's career to be over, that I want somebody to lose their job or their ability to provide for their family because of a mistake. And it emanates from a level of sensitivity that we harbor that, dare I say, sometimes is just not justified. The N-word, that's flagrant. We know what that is, particularly when it's white on black because of historical context. You know not to do that.
The C-word is also flagrant.
White community and other communities where black folks classify something as a racial issue that I quite honestly don't find justified. And that's got to change. That's what I want to
Here we go.
Strong?
It is strong. That is big and insightful of you to acknowledge.
Yes! So, here's the thing. So, after all that dumb nonsense that we just listened to, and we're all sitting here going, that's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. That is stupid. And whatever. Then the white dude at the end goes, that was amazingly insightful. White people are at home going, my God, that was so deep. You're right. The black people totally were too sensitive, and now we have to figure out and change how we do all these things. He totally went on.
Now I have to watch what I say because you people are being oversensitive.
Right.
And you're right.
That is what I'm telling you. That was the magic part.
And all of the, he's going to use random statistics and facts and stuff from census and just throw it in his argument, but doesn't use an example. Notice he doesn't use an example about how the black community was oversensitive about a particular issue. He didn't use any example at all for us to be like, okay, maybe I can understand that. No, there was no example. He's just saying, dare I say we've been oversensitive. In what aspect?
Strong manning hard.
Tell me how we've been oversensitive about something. And how dare he, in saying that, him basically saying, oh, well, using the N-word is something separate. But, how dare he say to Asian Americans that chink isn't the same thing?
Yeah, nigger, that's off. You can't say nigger. Like, fall back. Don't walk away from nigger. But chink, what from that? No.
Did you see cartoons?
No.
I don't know.
Sometimes, you don't remember back in the day, like on Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes, they totally said chink, right?